Hello and welcome back. This is the Wolf of Future Street, and I'm still injured following the three losing trades that I had early today. I have thankfully not traded anymore and not even looked at any good setups in the last few hours. That's a change, that's a positive change, but I thought I would revisit the scene of the crime and see what lessons I've learned and if there is something that stands out. Now, obviously, I've already done that, and here is a summary of what I have seen in terms of what I did versus what I should have ideally done. Obviously, hindsight is always very useful, but it doesn't take away the losses. Hopefully, hindsight will make me avoid future losses. And for that purpose, I am simply documenting my foolish behavior. So, without any further blabbering, let's get on to the task at hand, which is to analyze what went wrong in detail. Now, I always tell my friends who I trade with every day, I always tell them that all the lines on my chart, they all have a reason, and none of them are just for the sake of it. They are there for a reason, and I use them. Well, that sounds very nice, but here is what really happened, which is what, if I really meant what I said to them, I would not have been so foolish. Right. Okay, so let's get back to the places where I entered. And strangely enough, okay, there we go. Okay, so the first trade that I took. So the first three lines that you see are the three trades that I took, which basically threw me out of my trading for the day, because all three of them went pear-shaped on the opposite side instead of making money for me. So trade number 1, trade number 2, and trade number 3. Now, what are my codes for, or my code patterns? Code for my patterns. So very simply put, in chronological order, it's clean 15s, then either an S or D5, which means a single or a double 5, or and followed by either a single or a double 1. These are the codes that I look for, and in this particular order. So first I would look at the 15-minute chart. So when I look at this whole area for the three trades, okay, let me change that, let it be better than that. Okay, hold on, sorry for that. Let me redraw. So basically, when I was trading, this was the scenario for 15. So that meant on this first trade right here, it was clean 15. So clean 15 was perfect. And then I have single or double 5. Now let's look at the first trade, and let's look at this whole bit. Did I ever get a single or a double 5? The answer actually is no on the second piece either, and no on the third. So I never got either a single or a double 5. So the answer is actually no. And then of course the 1 doesn't really matter, because the second step to the pattern was never complete. So even if I did get a D1, this is a double right here on the first trade, which is where I thought I was entering, because it was a D1, but I merely ignored the 5-minute, which is more important than the 1-minute chart. And then the second time around I got an S1, because that was a single break right here, and on the third one I got a D1 again. But again, on each of these three instances I never got anything on the 5-minute chart, and that was what it was. So had I taken these trades, let's kind of look at it the other way around. Had I taken these trades, what would I have coded these as? Would I have to then create a new code, which is basically C15 and dirty dirty or unclean 5? Right? Not really, because that's not a code that I recognize. I don't have that as a pattern. So yeah, basically that's what it meant, that I could not wait for the setup to be correct. And now let's look at what happened next. So then we have these two lines which I've drawn, which is when now if you kind of look at it, we still have a clean 15. Awesome. Then we have a single 5, which meant now the 5-minute has finally joined the party in terms of the trend, right? So we had this bit here, and then we have anyways at that point of time got a double 1. Now let's again, but at the same time let's again look at that whole point of time on the chart. There you go. So now you can see that we now have a double 1 at the time of this bit on the 5-minute is exactly the double 1 on the 1-minute, which is what would have happened from a compliance perspective. Yes sir, we have it right. Now I've also drawn another line here, which is the 5th place or the 5th line, which would have actually meant that again on the 15-minute chart everything is fine, right? Because sorry, I need to go back, because it was always clean 15 even on the 5th line, right? It was always clean 15 all through on the again some beautifying errors. Okay, so on the 5th one as well it was always a clean 15. On the 5th one we actually now have a clean 5, so basically a double means a clean 5 as well, which is fine. And then what do I have on the 1-minute? So let's look at the 1-minute chart and see if it was basically a single 1. There you go. And that would have been the two right trades, so this one and this one, which is this one and this one, would have been the two correct trades on NQ. Now that's not the only observation. Now let's again look at when I said every line on my chart means something. Now when I was actually trading those 3 stupid trades that I traded, I was asking myself one more question, which is very pertinent, and I'll probably go back to my computer is lagging quite a bit. Okay. Now, and I think the 1-minute and the 5-minute are really important for this particular observation. Now, let's look at this. When I say all the lines on my chart are important, what was also visible here on these 3 trades is, whilst there were these doubles and singles and doubles on the 1-minute chart and the MACD on the 1-minute chart was green, just have a look at the MACD on the 5-minute chart. The MACD on the 5-minute chart was never green, it was always red. And whilst the waves were also conflicting, MACD was negative as well. And then if you look back at when we had the correct combination here on here with the 2 lines here, we also have the MACD going positive, and then you can see the continuation trade on the 1-minute would have been perfect because the MACD was also green, right? So that's another observation. And finally, and this is probably the larger piece in terms of understanding a trend. What I mean by that, and I think I actually made a video about trend trading, and in that video, and something that I have understood in a lot more detail is what I call moving average stacking, or in the MACD parlance, it would be called moving average divergence. Now let's again have a look at moving averages. So when we have this, have a look at this 1 minute chart and look at where my trades were, and if we now look back, what we'll find is this was the 200, this was the 40. So the 40 remained below the 200 every time. It kind of tried to go across here and then fell back below the 200, and then finally we will see that the 40 took over the 200. So 40 is now stacked properly, it's 40 above 200. And then if you see here, the fifth trade, which would have been the best trade, you have the stacking correct and you have a pullback. There was a pullback on the 1 minute. The 5 was super clean as a whistle, and then the trade on the S1, which would have been the 40, and then off he went. So the stacking when I was trading this was wrong, and I noticed that, but I couldn't stop myself, which is even more dumber at times, right? Because you know a lot of stuff, or I know a lot of stuff, and then yet there are times when I chose to ignore that for reasons that I really can't explain, or probably I can explain in the sense that I was trying to get over with the trade and make some money quickly, which is a psychological trait that has often led to losses. So I hope that I really stick to my pattern codes and go with that sequence and not confuse myself with trying to do something different, and sticking to the sequence of the code, clean 15, single or double 5, and then single or double 1, and nothing in between, right? So that's basically what I wanted to share. I hope that I retain what I've learned here as an example in terms of sticking to the plan, and I'll tell you that the only good thing that I've done today is I have hit my daily loss limit, my personal loss limit, and I've stopped trading, even though there could have been good setups after these on many other charts, including what you see on NQ right here, which is a fantastic opportunity. So the edge again is working well, but I need to really focus on it more and not compromise, because compromise leads to a lot of heartache, pain, losses, which takes time to recover from. Alright, bye.